Chief. We good? Are we good for a minute? Thank you. Good morning. It is August 5th, 2026, 9:02. I hereby give the St. Louis Board of Police Commissioners meeting public notice is hereby given to the St. Louis Board of Police Commissioners. We'll meet on the August 5th, 9 a.m. meeting, so we're going to call the meeting to order. It's 9:02 on August 5th. Board Attorney, Mr. Guerrero, can you please call roll?
Commissioner Saraceno?
Present.
Commissioner Jenkins-Gray?
Present.
Commissioner Ortega? Present. Commissioner McVeigh? Absent. Mayor Spencer?
Present.
Commissioner Brown?
Present. Thank you. If you're able to, please stand and join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. Also, once we are finished, let's remain standing. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If we can, before we have a seat, we'd like to take a minute of silence for Officer Kevin Bradford and their family as they go through a very difficult time. Let's remember them in our thoughts and our prayers and keep them not just today, but along the future. Thank you. Our first agenda item is the approval of meeting minutes from our July 15, 2026. Do I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes from July 15th, 2026?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Commissioner Ortega. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Jenkins-Gray. Is there any discussion regarding the minutes from July 15th? Seeing no discussion, I will call for a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Minutes are passed. We'll move on to our committee reports. I'll reach out to our Labor Management Commissioner. Brown, would you please provide the Labor Management Committee report?
Yes, President. The Labor Management Committee met on July 7th, 2026 at 10 a.m. at the police headquarters. Committee members Sarah Koziaki, Police Officer Mark Garcia, Lieutenant Demetrius Elston, Sergeant Donnie Walters, Major Joe Marisi, and Major Janice Bachstruck were present. The committee discussed the department's recruiting incentive program. As the board representative on the Labor Committee, I move to adopt the resolution establishing a stepped recruiting incentive structure for the department's employee referral recruiting incentive program. Mr. Guerrero, will you please read the resolution?
Yes, Commissioner Brown. Resolution establishing a stepped recruiting incentive structure for the department's employee referral recruiting incentive program, St. Louis Board of Police Commissioners, resolution number 2026-37. Whereas the St. Louis Board of Police Commissioners has determined it to be in the best interest of the board to adopt the following resolution, and whereas the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department has previously utilized a referral program to compensate employees of the department who recruit new officers or lateral applicants to assist in the department's recruitment of police officers, and whereas the board desires to establish a new recruitment incentive program to help attract applicants for commissioned officers by establishing a stepped incentive structure, and whereas the board recognizes that the Missouri Constitution prohibits extra compensation and bonuses for public officers and services after the services has been rendered, but that the state auditor has previously stated incentive programs are allowable under the Missouri Constitution when implemented and executed appropriately, and whereas the board wishes to authorize the Human Resources Division to develop the program such that it complies with the Missouri Constitution, meets the general program criteria set forth herein. Be it resolved that the board authorized the Human Resources Division to create a recruitment incentive program for commissioned officers that complies with the Missouri Constitution, contains the following components. A, the program utilizes a stepped incentive structure where an employee who refers a recruit or lateral hire who is ultimately employed by the department, $1,000 for the first officer recruited, $1,500 for the second officer recruited, and $2,000 for each additional officer recruited. B, the program requires a police officer trainee to graduate from the department's academy and begin an initial assignment as a probationary police officer to receive an incentive. C, the program requires a lateral hire to remain employed by the department for 6 months for a department employee to receive an incentive. D, the program allows only one department employee to receive an incentive per applicant, which shall be determined based on the employee listed on the applicant's application form. E, the program requires the applicant list the department's employee on the applicant's application form for a department employee to receive an incentive. F, the program will not make any incentive payments until the applicant completes criteria established by the Human Resources Division. G, the program caps the amount that an employee may earn under the program at $10,500 per fiscal year. H, the program prohibits the Human Resources Division from receiving a referral incentive. I, the program prohibits an employee who has referred someone to the department from interviewing, pre-employment investigation, or otherwise being a part of the hiring process for the applicant. J, the program defines lateral hires as candidates who have never previously worked for the department but are post-certified and have prior law enforcement experience. And K, the program prohibits any incentives for former Department of employees who are rehired. Be it further resolved that the program shall have an initial budget of $30,000 for fiscal year 2027, which may be increased by resolution of the board.
The department has previously utilized a referral program to compensate employees who recruit new officers to assist in the department's recruitment effort. The resolution before the board today builds on that program by establishing a new stepped incentive structure designed to help the department attract more applicants for commissioned officer positions. This resolution also adds lateral transfers who have never worked for the department previously. As a final note for the board, the Human Resources Division will be responsible for developing the program's operating guidelines. We will bring the program back before the board if experience shows that the budget or eligibility criteria need adjustment.
Thank you, Commissioner. Is that a motion for that?
I'd like to have a motion.
Do we have a second on the?
I'll second.
Second. This is a motion by Commissioner Brown, second by Commissioner Ortega. Do we move to discussion? Is there discussion regarding this resolution for our recruiting incentives?
Well, I do have some questions or thoughts. And first and foremost, I want to say that I am very supportive of anything that is going to support improving recruitment for the department. My concern isn't with the concept of the referral incentive program, it's with the governance process. And as a board, I think we should first establish the policy that governs the program and then authorize management to administer it. Because I agree conceptually. And so my understanding is today that we're being asked to approve the program without first seeing the rules that will ensure that it's administered consistently. I mean, there are a lot of things that need to be incorporated into the policy. I think that the board needs to approve as a part of that program. For example, what are the documentation requirements? How often is it going to be updated to the board? What is the appeals process in a program like this? Referral submission procedures. So there are a lot of things, governance types of things that are missing that has not yet been presented to the board. And so that's what I wanted to have conversation around.
Ms. Koziaki, you're in the audience. Do you have, can you come up to the podium? Do you have anything to add or help with those concerns from Commissioner
So
Summers?
on the application that they complete, there is a section where it asks if you've been referred to by a department employee. So that is the governance process, so that if they put a department employee down, that is the person that would receive the bonus if they graduate from the police academy, or if it's a lateral transfer, if they stay for 6 months.
So my question is then, is there a governing policy that currently exists? Is what we're talking about here documented anywhere other than what we received in the resolution?
Originally, when the resolution, I think, went through the Labor Management Committee, it established the program. And what we did is we modified it when we looked at it, and we said, well, there's probably these policies and things that need to be written. And so what we changed it to was the board authorized the Human Resources Division to create a recruitment incentive program. So authorizing her to then draft and put all those policies and procedures together. And the idea that, like, let's get the authorization to create the program, not necessarily to implement the program, because we need to have all those rules in place. And the idea of like, what's the fastest way to do it is, authorize her to create the program. So I think, Commissioner Jenkins Gray, there's two things that I think we could do and meet your need. Number one is, we could say, work with the vice president on that creation of it, right? To put those documents in place. We saw that we didn't have that, but we wanted to authorize a creation so that we could get it moving forward and see where the board was on it. So we can either bring that back if you authorize her to create it today, so you guys can look at it and give a final approval, or we could do that administratively where the HR director could work with you and you could kind of report back on it too. It's really kind of either way, but it's authorizing the creation of it because we did recognize that we do have to get some policies. We're working on getting the police manual and everything kind of lined up and layering all that in there and removing inconsistencies. So you bring a great point up, but what the resolution authorizes is the creation of the program with the idea that there is still work that probably needs to be done to do that, including a policy like what you're talking about.
Okay.
Can we add to the language on the motion in the discussion, just to, not add to it, but amend?
Yeah, I mean, you can do that, or you guys, I'm sure Sarah's worked with, Commissioner Jenkins Gray since the beginning, probably has no problem, working directly with it, and then having Commissioner Jenkins Gray maybe reporting back on it at the next meeting if you think it needs to come. We're trying to create what are department, division policies that they're writing for themselves and what are not as well. So the idea that it's her program in HR, she writes it. I know that we need those governance things in there. So if we approved it today, the way it is, I think Sarah has no problem, you have no problem, Commissioner Jenkins Gray, working on that, putting that language in there, and then if we need to bring it back for final approval, we can do that.
Yeah, I'm okay with that, but I'm more comfortable with once it's created, that the entire board has an opportunity to review it and approve it as a group, as a commission.
Okay. I think we can work on getting that created, and then we know that you all want to see it when it's written and what it looks like, and I think a lot of it is already done, but we can bring that back and report back on it.
So it is authorizing the Human Resource Department to
Create it, yeah.
the incentive program that will be approved by the full board.
Within these guidelines as approved by Labor Management Committee.
Okay. So do we need to clarify that language?
What
happens
to the motion?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know that you need to necessarily modify the motion, because I think she creates it and she needs to come back and she needs to work with, HR Director needs to work with Commissioner Jenkins Gray on some of that governance language and report back. I think she's creating it, that's part of the creation process. I don't know that you need to modify, because we made that change because we realized that there's probably a little more cooking that needs to happen.
Perspective, are you?
I'm good.
Okay. Commissioner Brown?
Yeah, I just want to make sure that maybe we add, once the operating guidelines are finalized, we'll come back for a final approval.
You could make that amendment and say final approval by the board.
Because this right now is just
Right.
approving the
Well, I
program.
understand that.
You guys will get together and then we'll approve the final program.
Well, it still has to be authorized by the full board. So if you would make that,
So you're going to make that motion to amend the motion to bring it back to the final board for approval?
yeah, just make.
Are you all right with that?
I think,
So we need a second on that motion.
second.
Seconded by Commissioner Ortega, and so we'll vote on that one. You can just do a voice vote if you want.
Any further discussion?
The motion before us is to amend.
Yeah, we have to take on the amendment
And then
before we take the underlying
We're
motion.
taking on, yeah.
Your
Voice vote.
Okay. We're going to
So
call.
on the amendment.
On the amendment, we're going to call for a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now then we'll call for a roll call vote on the approval,
Okay.
or whatever are in your notes the vote is.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. So with the amendment, we're going to call for the roll call vote
Yep, on the amended.
on the amended portion of that resolution.
The entire resolution with the
With the
amendment in
amendment
place.
on and
Yeah.
in place, correct.
Sorry. All right. Commissioner Saraceno?
Aye.
Commissioner Jenkins Gray?
Aye.
Commissioner Ortega?
Aye.
Mayor Spencer?
Present.
Commissioner Brown?
Does not vote.
Sorry, apologize. I'm a little rusty.
Motion carried. Thank you, Commissioner Brown. We'll move to the litigation portion of our committee. Commissioner Ortega, would you please provide the litigation committee report?
Sure. We had our meeting, our regular meeting on Thursday, and then we had a committee meeting on Monday. We have a resolution that's on the table here. Mr. Gavil, would you like to read the resolution?
I would. Hopefully this one's not as long. Resolution to adopt a pre-litigation claims settlement authority policy, St. Louis Board of Police Commissioners, Resolution Number 2026-38. Whereas the St. Louis Board of Police Commissioners has determined it to be in the best interest of the board to adopt the following resolution, and whereas the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department receives claims related to property damage, bodily injury, and other losses, and whereas the claims demand monetary compensation for damages allegedly caused by department employees acting within the scope of their employment, and whereas the claims are sent to the department prior to the initiation of any litigation related to the alleged damages, and whereas the board desires to adopt a pre-litigation claim settlement authority policy attached hereto as Exhibit A, be it resolved that the board adopts the pre-litigation claim settlement authority policy attached hereto and incorporated herein as Exhibit A to establish the department's level of monetary authority when assessing and resolving claims received by the department, and be it further resolved that a copy of the pre-litigation claim settlement authority policy shall be open for public inspection.
Thank you.
So we're going to have Erica Zaza come up and talk about the resolution.
Morning, Erica.
Good morning.
So what this policy does, it establishes the process for pre-litigation claims, payments, and review. It ensures consistency, fiscal responsibility, and compliance with applicable laws and internal procedures. It establishes the clear responsibilities of the claims administrator, whose primary role will be to receive the claims, process them, be the kind of the point person for the claimants, do an investigation, ensure that there are proper documents in place, deny claims where there's no legal liability. If there is legal liability, she can negotiate those settlements. We've included a 3-tier system where the claims administrator can approve up to $50,000. Anything between $50,000 and $100,000 will go to the litigation committee for approval. Anything over $100,000 requires approval of the full board. So there's those thresholds built into the policy. There's an internal review system built into the policy itself. Once the claims administrator has negotiated a settlement, those have to be approved by the legal compliance director, documented in an investigative memo with a signed claim form and all of the supporting documentation. It identifies the funding source for the claims and provides a reporting component to the board for an annual report to the board that will, at minimum, summarize the claims activity for the prior year, include the payment amounts, the type of claims, and make any sort of risk mitigation recommendations to the board each year by July 31st for the prior fiscal year.
And just one more thing, this is a procedure that Erica has worked on and developed, and it's got double and triple checks on it, which is great. And the other part of it is we've worked with the Attorney General's office to kind of layer this in, because Erica is the main point of contact with the AG's office on evidence, witness coordination and whatnot. So we think that this will allow us to not only, deal with claims that people may have regarding the police department very quickly, but also allow us to track cases better to really know. And I know that's one of the things the board has made as a priority is, where are the liabilities and what are we learning from the liabilities? So this is one of the pieces in the implementation of it. And a litigation committee reviewed it and approved it unanimously as well.
Thank you. So is that motion carried?
I would like to make a motion that we accept this resolution.
Do we have a second on the motion?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Brown. Is there any discussion regarding this resolution.
I just have a question. Full of questions today. Erica, so for reporting purposes, I know that you're going to provide an annual report summarizing the claims activity, et cetera, but is there something that we can incorporate where the board can be informed, maybe on a quarterly basis or something like that, with regards to what's happening with the claims? I just waiting to the end of the year, and I just think we need to be updated throughout the year. so
Yeah,
like on what's
absolutely.
what's
I
going
think
on.
we built it in annually right now because it's such a new system, and we don't really know, like, volume-wise, we're still trying to figure out those types of things. I anticipate, reporting to the litigation committee fairly often on where we're at with the claims process. If you want something more formal to the board quarterly, I'm happy to do so.
Go ahead.
I think it would be helpful, particularly from a financial perspective, just to understand what the total volume looks like.
Yeah, absolutely.
On a quarterly basis?
I would think so.
Good, okay, let's move that to a quarterly basis on a reporting system. Thank you for your feedback. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll call for a roll call vote.
See if I can get it right this time. Commissioner Jenkins Gray.
Aye.
Commissioner Ortega.
Aye.
Mayor Spencer.
Present.
Commissioner Saraceno.
Aye. Okay, thank you. Resolution carries 3, 1 present. Okay, anything else, Commissioner Ortega, regarding?
Just our next meeting will be August 14th at 10 a.m.
Thank you, Commissioner. We're going to move to the Budget and Finance. Normally, Commissioner McVeigh provides that report. Unfortunately, he's ill today, so he was not able to make it. Commissioner Sonia Jenkins Gray has stepped in to.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
thank you, Commissioner.
On behalf of Commissioner McVeigh, the Budget, Finance, and Audit Committee met on July 21st at 10 a.m. He is bringing 2 recommended items to the board today for consideration. Also, we'll be providing the board an update on the department's encumbrance request. The first item for the board is a recommendation that the board enter into a renewal agreement with Oracle to provide software support for the department's PeopleSoft enterprise system. Mr. Sullivan can speak concerning that contract. Mr. Sullivan?
Point of clarification, is this the contract that will be considered in new business under agreements? Or
Is it-
will be.
Will it? Okay,
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I'm asking because there's nothing,
Okay.
that is the only indication here of Oracle on the agenda.
Okay.
Right, yeah, there's.
Apologies, Mr.
Yeah, we'll cover that.
Okay.
Yeah.
It'll be on deck.
Okay. The committee unanimously voted to recommend the board enter into the renewal, for the agreement with Oracle. This item will be part of the contract approval resolution later in our agenda. The second item for the board is a recommendation that the board enter into the 2026 Midwest HIDTA grant. This grant will reimburse the department for the rental of undercover vehicles for the narcotics unit. The department has received this grant for many years, and it does not require any matching funds. The committee unanimously voted to recommend the board enter into the grant. This item will be part of the contract approval resolution later in our agenda. Finally, Tim Sullivan from the Budget Finance Office discussed year-end encumbrances requested from the Comptroller's Office. Each of these requests was made by the Chief's Office. First, the department is requesting $1.7 million be encumbered for the construction of the sound wall at the department range. Second, the department is requesting $2 million for the academy roof replacement and academy bathroom remodeling. Third, the department is requesting $1.5 million for the PeopleSoft financial system upgrade. Fourth, the department is requesting $1.5 million be encumbered for the command van replacement. Fifth, the department is requesting $250,000 for a critical incident van. Sixth, the department is requesting $250,000 for a mobile office van. We hope to have an update on the status of these encumbrance requests at our next committee meeting. Our committee will meet next on Tuesday, August 25th, 2026 at 10 a.m. That concludes the Budget committee report.
Thank you. So if we can have Mr. Sullivan come up and talk about the contracts and also in our
Are we going on to new business?
it's, we'll move to the new business, yes. To approve the certain. We're jumping out of order. Yeah. Well, thank you for providing the report, Commissioner stepping in. We'll move to new business and have to Mr. Sullivan.
I can do it after.
Well, does anybody want to hear about these? I do. Yeah. I would think we've. Bless you.
She already updated the word on the incentive program.
Okay, but before we read that, can we have Mr. Sullivan provide the contract updates? Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
The first is a sound study with HDR Sound Engineers. It's for the sound wall at the range. This wasn't part of the budget request because this is a new thing, so we're going to use asset forfeiture money to pay for this. It's $93,224.
Thank you.
The second is a support agreement with TSI Technologies for the intelligence unit. The real-time crime center, they're paying $150 an hour for a technician to come out to fix the wall downstairs with all the video screens. And this will save them money in the end. And this was requested in the budget.
Thank you.
The third is a contract with MoDOT. It's for the motor carrier safety program. There's a matching share of $44,410, which we will have to pay, which was part of the budget request. And the feds will pay $843,792. This is for the entire operations of the MCSAP unit. Next contract is the Midwest HIDA program. It's for rental cars for the narcotics unit, $16,500. No impact on the general fund at all. And lastly is the Oracle support agreement for the PeopleSolve program, $99,955.89. This was requested by IT in the budget during the process.
Thank you.
And lastly is the intergovernmental joint agreement for the construction of the wellness center between the city police department, the county, and the police foundation. There's no impact on the police department this fiscal year, but in the future, we'll have to set a budget to pay for our share of the expenses.
Okay, thank you.
That'll be fiscal '28 before that starts. Right.
Thank you. Mr. Revelle?
Yes. Resolution approving certain agreements, St. Louis Board of Police Commissioners, resolution number 2026-39, whereas the St. Louis Board of Police Commissioners has determined it to be in the best interest of the board to adopt the following resolution, and whereas the board has reviewed certain contracts, agreements, and memorandums of understanding at its August 5th, 2026 board meeting, collectively the agreements, whereas the board has approved the agreements which have been attached hereto as Exhibit B, and authorize the chief of police to execute the agreements on behalf of the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department, and be it resolved, the agreement attached hereto and incorporated herein as Exhibit B are approved by the St. Louis Board of Police Commissioners, and be it further resolved that the chief of police shall be authorized to execute the agreements attached hereto and incorporated herein as Exhibit B.
One clarification, Exhibit B would be these
Contracts, yes.
contracts here, all of them under one.
We typically do them under one because they've been approved. If there was one that somebody didn't want to do, a motion could be made to remove that one from the resolution and could talk about it separately.
Well, I had a couple of points I wanted to make just on the resolution specifically. For one, on the sound engineer study, I just want to commend Derek Winters and all of his work going into that. That's an issue that's important to all of us. Derek's really worked very hard on this, and I just wanted to make note of that. On the Wellness Center, I recognize, Mr. Sullivan, that there's no fiscal impact on this year, but it would be incumbent upon the Board of Police Commissioners to encumber funds for next fiscal year. Do we have an estimated cost of that?
I don't. I just saw this yesterday for the first time, and Michelle Craig from the Police Foundation was going to try to get some numbers together for us and let us know ahead of time. And she said she won't spring it on us at the last minute. She's going to get some numbers and try to get an estimate for us.
And so does the agreement here that we would be authorizing the chief to enter into today necessitate ongoing support of a financial contribution of an unknown amount?
No, today, this is, if I'm reading this correct, this is just for the construction of the wellness center itself. I think there's another agreement that'll be coming later on the financial side.
The discussions with Michelle Craig that we've had from the foundation with regards to the expenses, they are very sensitive, and we've provided our budgetary numbers from the past with regards to this. It has some other effects that we're working on and have been working on for a while with regards to how it interplays with our current agreements and whatnot. I think we're confident that the fiscal impact will be no more than what it is, but there are mechanisms in the agreement if there's an issue with that, that, we can, terminate the agreement or whatnot if the financial issues are a concern. We are at a point with the Wellness Center where St. Louis County has approved it, and the foundation has approved it, and so this is back to us for our final approval on it. It is a new concept. It is a concept that I think they've looked at some other areas, and I think there's a little bit of, to move the project forward, we have to have a little bit of uncertainty, but the concerns regarding budgetary numbers has been conveyed. They're very sensitive to it, and they have reassured us that it'll work, but if it doesn't work, there are mechanisms to get out of the agreement and with no liability, because they acknowledge the fact that, as we were talking about the agreement, they acknowledge the fact that that was an uncertainty until they had all the components in place.
Thank you, Mr. Gravel. Sorry, just a point of clarification. When you say they've assured us, can you specify?
department.
Okay,
And those
I just
working
haven't
with
been
them.
part of those conversations, so
Yeah.
as a board member, I just think it's pertinent to raise concerns when we're setting ourselves up for agreements of a financial contribution of an unknown amount.
Absolutely, understood.
And I'd like to add, the foundation has never encumbered this department in any financial situation. It has covered us in the 12 years that they've been in existence, and extremely dedicated to the department in both the St. Louis City as well as St. Louis County. And, although assurances are that of words from their leadership as well as their executive director, it would not encumber additional funds, and they are looking at really strong opportunities for savings and improving the health and welfare of our officers and their families. So I would speak confidently that this is not an encumbered fund that is going to impact our financial budget.
No doubt about it. I just recognizing the
respect.
foundation has been a great support, and having a wellness center for our officers is important. But as just a matter of good governance, I think it would be helpful if assurances of those kinds are provided to members, that be shared across the board for general information going into these decisions. I would
100%.
appreciate it. Thank you.
100% agree. Thank you, Mayor. Any other questions for Mr. Sullivan or further discussion?
I just have a quick question. So the resolution giving the chief authority to execute these, is it just these agreements, or is that going forward?
Well, these agreements establish, they're the governing documents for the Wellness Center, which is really, I think, a really neat concept. It's kind of like MSD. It's an intergovernmental cooperative agreement that is its own entity where there's representatives appointed by this board, representative appointed by the St. Louis County Executive and the foundation. So it really is the authorization to establish it so they can start putting the pieces together for it. Yeah, I mean, this is really the initiation of it, and some of the things, unfortunately, we're going to back into.
Any further discussion? We'll move for a vote on this?
Oh,
Roll call vote.
Commissioner Saraceno?
Aye.
Commissioner Jenkins Gray?
Aye.
Commissioner Ortega? Aye. Mayor Spencer?
Present.
3-1 vote. We'll move forward here. Did we move on to the resolution approving an updated job description for the department's purchasing agent?
That's what's coming up next.
Yep, we need to move to that.
Go ahead and read that.
Please.
Resolution approving an updated job description for the department's purchasing agent, St. Louis Board of Police Commissioners, Resolution number 2026-40. Whereas the St. Louis Board of Police Commissioners has determined it to be in the best interest of the board to adopt the following resolution, and whereas on October 8, 2025, the board approved Resolution number 2025-15, authorizing the hiring of purchasing agent and approving a job description for the purchasing agent, and whereas the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department directors and the chief of police recommend the board update the job description for the purchasing agent to have the purchasing agent report to the supply division under the chief of police instead of budget and finance. Be it resolved that the board approves the updated job description for the purchasing agent attached hereto and incorporated herein by reference as Exhibit C, and be it further resolved that a copy of the job description shall be open for public inspection.
Okay. We need a motion to approve that resolution. Motion by Commissioner Brown,
I'll second.
second by Commissioner Ortega. Move to discussion. No discussion? Call for a roll call vote.
Mayor Spencer,
Present.
Commissioner Saraceno,
Aye.
Commissioner Jenkins Gray,
Aye.
Commissioner Ortega,
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. All right. There we go. This binder's got me tripped up today. Really? All right. So our next resolution is C, and I'm going to move to postpone this resolution due to a timing issue that we had. So I'm going to move to postpone this till the 15th, our second board meeting. Okay? Can we get a motion to postpone?
I'll make a motion that we postpone to the 15th.
Second.
Second, we have a motion by Commissioner Taylor, second by Commissioner Sonia Jenkins Gray. Any discussion? Seeing none, call for a roll call vote. Mr. Cavill?
Commissioner Saraceno,
Aye.
Commissioner Jenkins Gray,
Aye.
Commissioner Ortega.
Aye.
Mayor Spencer.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, move to our chief's report. Chief Tracy. Morning, Chief.
Good morning, Chief. Good morning, everyone. President Saraceno, if I may, I just want to put the crime numbers up on a PowerPoint. I do speak to them, but sometimes a visual, sometimes I can put things more in context. I won't do this often, but maybe a couple times a year. I think it's really important. And even seeing some of the media that has asked questions about CompStat report and understanding, and I know the mayor got asked a question at a recent press conference that had nothing to do with crime, but they actually hit her. I want to make sure that we can put them in context when media is asking them. So when we talk about CompStat, we do a 7-day period this year versus the same 7-day period last year. And as you can see, coming all the way down, the only area we're up was within sexual assaults. We made a couple of arrests there. I can't get very much into detail when it comes to sexual assaults for obvious reasons, to protect the victims and sensitivity to that. But we made a couple of arrests on these, and some of them, they were known to each other. These are not people that did not know each other. And if there was a certain person out there that was committing sexual assaults and continuous and more of a serial way, we certainly would put that out to the public. A lot of this is sensitive, some of it's domestic and people that are known to each other. And so it's 3 versus 1, we're up, and we have a specialized unit that actually deals just with sexual abuse cases and sexual assaults. Down 26%, 7 days this year. This ends on a Sunday night every week at midnight, as you can see. And then these numbers are locked in. Numbers are always dynamic, but we have to look at these things as we put our crime strategies in place that can be both proactive and reactive, and proactive to get ahead of some of these things. So a lot of this is emerging trends, especially when it comes down to aggravated assaults, if there's a pattern. But burglary, felony theft, and auto theft, these are emerging trends. These are usually groups until they'll continue doing what they're doing until they're caught. And then we got to work across jurisdictional boundaries, work with our partners in other jurisdictions. And then a lot of these things have come down. If you take, this is the 7-day, and if you take a look at this, down 28%, they will taking a look at, are there patterns? Then we're having confirmed patterns if we start to see, and this start to see citywide, down 20% and with our categories. And then you go year to date, so this is compared to year to date as of August 2nd, down 8% for the year, down with every category, and flat here. It's really important that I always talk about where have we come since we put these type of methodologies and strategies and the good work by our detectives, working with all our partners, working with our community partners, working with our city services, working with everyone. We have to work together, and here's some of the things that you start seeing. This is where we've come from. 2022 is our baseline, and 42% overall in the city, down at every single category. These categories, I believe, it's really good work by the police officers, but there were a lot of outstanding cases. When I walked through the door, almost 6,000 cases by the former circuit attorney that took cases under advisement and never actually issued against them. Our officers were arresting people 8, 9, 10, 12 times, and then they were not even being seen in the warrant office, and therefore we had to release them within 24 hours. Gabe Gore and I made an agreement that as soon as he came in, he's going to see all these cases, and then if we arrest one for the current crime, we go back for the past crimes that they committed, and if we can make sure we issue on all the charges. So that's a game changer, and some of these things you're seeing the results right here, and you're seeing the results even in the property crime. So a lot of good work done by our officers. Legal citizen kicks in. They have overcome it. They made sure that they don't get down, and make sure that they continue to be motivated and know that the work that they're doing is going to be recognized. When I say recognized, people held accountable that are breaking the law. And so 42%. If you take a look at shooting incidents, this really comes into our murders and our assaults. When 90% of our murders are by gunshot, you got to go after the trigger pullers. And that's where we bring in NIBIN, we bring into all our crime gun intelligence, we leverage all our technology, and we get ahead of these people proactively so they don't go out and shoot again, and we make sure we close these cases out, and we get these guys, get men and women off the street that are going to cause harm to our community. As you can see this week, it's almost flat, and what the numbers are. If you look at a 28-day period, this is where we are. But if you look at where we are, we're getting diminishing returns because, each year we're competing against ourselves as far as some of the successes, but we're still down. Then you go to 2022, you're seeing down almost 40% down in shooting incidents, shooting victims, and then you're seeing down 53% and 47% in juvenile shooting incidents. That's keeping our kids safe. That's working with the juvenile courts, working with Judge Stelzer, and all the things that we're doing in the MOUs we have in place. So, and then misdemeanor thefts, we don't forget about all the other crimes, and as you can see, down 41%, down 42%, down 27% year to date, and then you can see from years past where we're at. And so that's a lot of good work that's being done. I think sometimes when you look at it, if we're going to talk to the media, we talk to the communities, emerging patterns and trends, identifying the trends, and then this type of methodology is broken down by a patrol area, north, central, and south. Then it's broken down by district, 1 through 6, and then it's broken down by the 88 neighborhoods. So you can get down right into those things. We also have crime mapping that the community can go right out and they can see real time what type of crimes happen in their neighborhoods, with the exception of sexual assaults and/or juvenile crimes. These things are reforming the public, making sure that we're looking at them. And even, I was glad when the press started asking about a 28-day murder that was up in a 28-day period, but that was several weeks ago. And as you can see, it's 8 versus 12, it's down 39%. So that has kind of stabilized, and we take a good look at what's happening 3 days a week in our executive management meetings, and then we are looking at every shots fired incident, and then CompStat, where we do a real thorough review with each district, whatever district's up, or any emergent pattern and trend. And we're doing this in real time when things happen. We're doing it several times a week, and those things are working, and the men and women, both sworn and professional staff, because when you talk about all the other people that are at the back of the house that are doing the work to help our officers on the street, it's pretty incredible what they're doing. And we're talking about crime analysts, we're talking about our dispatchers, we're talking about all the other things, even right down to recruitment. You're hearing about Sarah Koziaki, and one of the most important things is communication, and you have to have a very good public affairs and communication team to make sure that we can talk about this, and a good website to get information out through our venue. Can you put up the homicides, the murders? If you take a look at where we were in 2020, at this date today, 159 murders we were at. Now 110, 2021, 112 in 2022, 99 in 2023, 100 in 2024, and we keep coming down, 2025, and now we're at 75. This was 263 murders that year. This was 201 in 2022, 161 in 2023, the first year of the CompStat methodology, going after using NIBIN, leveraging it, going after the trigger pullers. And then in 2024, we were down to 150, 2025, 140, and I'm hoping we're tracking a little ahead on these murders. But this is not by accident. This is by going after the trigger pullers, being proactive, and go after these individuals with the highest propensity for violence. And that's exactly why Office of Violence Prevention and also Save Lives Now is so important as we're getting together, as they're standing up, and we're having a meeting again today. I think it's really important that they can add to this as we work together, identifying those individuals, what we have, and it's called custom notifications. When we go to them and we go to their house and say, hey, we're not here to arrest you, we're here to talk to you, to say, you're part of this community. We don't want retaliation. We want to make sure that how can we help you with services and things, and that's done through the city services, done through Office of Violence Prevention, Save Lives Now, Focus Deterrence, and our technical assistance. And we're working more on the north end now. And I can't wait for this to really be up and running, because when that's really fully functional on top of the work that our officers are already doing, we can help drive this number down. That's how important these things. And I do believe in those things because I've done those for 15 years. The one thing, it takes a little time to set these programs up, because it takes time to identify the individuals, start to get the system in place. But what has happened, I've seen in places that with Focus Deterrence, Office of Violence Prevention, has kind of failed, is that we weren't patient enough with them to get them started, to build the foundation, to start working together. And that's what's happening now. And now I'm glad to see that we're really starting to get into that shooting reviews, which is something that where we talk about those people with the highest propensity of violence, but we know who they are because we've already did that back work for the last year, sharing information, and we're going to share more. We'll have confidential agreements as far as how this information can be used, who can see it, and then how we leverage it into the things that we need to do to try to drive this violent crime down more. So really appreciative that with the time that just explained the CompStat methodology, use these sheets. It's what the chief is talking about. You don't have to wait for me to report out on these. These numbers are online. These numbers are online. That's why I encourage the press. I encourage the community. I encourage everyone in this room, from police on down. Please look at this information, look at those things, and if there's questions, I can put some more things in context. So that's kind of where we're at. With that, we're going to continue with this methodology, and we're getting better and better at it. And that's why you're starting to see these numbers come down. We're institutionalized this in this department to make sure it becomes part of our DNA. So the best thing that this chief can do is train everyone to take his job and make sure that we institutionalize, make it regiment, make it consistent with these officers as they develop. They make sure they continue this long after this chief's gone, and it continues on the legacy where you oversee the next generation of police officers. So with that, I'll open up some questions.
Thank you, Chief. Good report. Appreciate it. Outstanding. Please, Mayor.
Thank you, Chief. The numbers are trending very well in the right direction. As you mentioned, I was asked by the media, sort of blindsided by this massive increase in homicides in the month of June. I think it was a 55% increase. As you know, myself as mayor, as well as the president of the Board of Police Commissioners, we would naturally get asked by the media about those. And as you have mentioned, these crime statistics do live on the city's police department's website. But I would respectfully request that when there are wild swings or significant swings in the crime statistics, that you could give us a heads up so that we aren't blindsided by the media. I would never want to have to say, I didn't know about that, and would much rather have a much more constructive response in those media circumstances. So if we are seeing trends in any way that is significant, if you could please let my office know and the other commissioners know as a courtesy heads up on those major swings, I would appreciate it.
Absolutely. And that, I don't know if it was a wild swing. I think we had a very, very low homicides, one of the lowest probably in history, that now the homicides that we had this year compared to years past, it actually created a number in June that was much higher. It was more, it was a high June versus a very low June the year before. And as you can see, we're already, as you look at the 28-day period, could you pull that up? And so if you look, it's 8 versus 12, it's down 33%. I think the media cherry-picked that, took a number, hit, and that wasn't something that was very alarming to me at the time. We have made some arrests. We are at, right now, a 90% homicide clearance rate, which is one of the highest in the country. And then that's for all homicides, even including years past. We're right now, we're at 65% for the homicides that happened this year that we've cleared. That's higher than the overall, that for all homicides in other cities. So really proud of what we're doing. Every one of those, if it was, when it came to that cherry picking by the media, I don't see them reporting that we're down now. I don't see them reporting year to date. But they did cherry pick it, and they did hit you with that at a press conference.
Well,
I do report this out almost every 2 weeks. And then I have reported out in our public safety meetings with you and your staff the crime statistics that go to you. And I've encouraged Ben, Casey, and the rest of your team to please take a look at this. If there's anything in the future, if I see something like this, I'll make sure. I probably made a bad assumption thinking that you and your team would have recognized this because reports go to you. And I was hoping if you did have a question, that could be a two-way street.
Sure, I do appreciate that, Chief. And certainly, I think just recognizing that an increase in homicide on a monthly report of 50% is certainly has the appearance of being alarming. And I do recognize that, as you pointed out, last year's June rate was very low. This year's was a little bit high. But having a heads up would certainly be helpful, and it would be appreciated.
Absolutely, Mayor.
Anything else for Chief Tracy?
Thank you,
Okay.
sir.
Oh, Chief, how's where are we at with our recruiting from our recruitment blitz?
Well, we have 18 in the academy now, so we're at 848 sworn police officers. 18 of them are in the academy. It's stabilized from where we are. I'll talk about the attrition rate first, and I'll get into the recruitment. Where we were in 2019 and 20, we had almost 400 more officers than we do today. So what we're doing and a lot of things we put in place in the last couple of months and the raises and these things and the type of incentives that we talked about today are going to help us in what we're doing. And then the morale of the police officers coming up, the pay, competitive pay, has really helped. And I think the support of everything that's going on, and even the union being part of every decision being made as part of the committees and everything, I think it is buy-in that we have an opportunity here to really make this department great. And that's why I see a lot of the things that the board's doing and some of the things that we were encumbered by in the past by civil service rules and certain things, especially when it comes to hiring practices, that it wasn't that the city has some archaic rules that I saw compared to other places that even now Commissioner Gray, but former Department of Personnel Director, had to deal with, and her and I really worked on a lot of things to see how we can make that better. But now it's kind of taken things off with Sarah Koziaki and her team. you've allowed us to bring more people in personnel, do our own hiring, we can get to these individuals when they apply a heck of a lot quicker. We've done the fast track on hiring practices, bringing people in. We plan on doing that again. And I think it was very successful to have the bodies in front of us to identify the people, to make sure that we can bring more people into the pipeline instead of sending out applications hoping people come in. And I'm hoping that we will have possibly two academy classes coming up shortly, hopefully in the beginning of September. And if we can get another academy class in towards the end of September, I don't want to put too much pressure on our director here, but these are the things that we're trying to push, maybe another 20. And then the hiring practice, as you know, although it started out with 120, as we start going through the process, some people eliminated or they've making other choices in life, because we want to make sure that we get quality police officers over quantity. Because if we go the other way and we lower the standards, then you're going to start to see these issues manifest themselves down the road, where we're actually thinking that one officer can't make a difference. Let's take a look at Minneapolis. Let's take a look at all these places. So we got to make sure we get it right, and these officers want to be out there, and that's why the probation period is for 18 months. And I think we're on the upswing. We've slowed down attrition, because when I started here, it was about 990, and now it's at 850 right now. So that's only a net loss of 50. Each year we're losing a couple hundred a year. And so, and these raises help retain people, and especially our upper command staff. I think that's the way to go. I think we got to be competitive, and I think we'll start seeing these results towards the end of the year if we can get these academy classes in. Our goal is to try to get to 900, then get to 1,000, and to do this. But you just can't hire someone off the street. It takes almost 18 months to get an officer out on the street to be working, and to make sure that that person's properly trained in the job that they need to do. So that's where we're at, Commissioner or President Saraceno, and it's patience with a sense of urgency. And that's the way I always practice. But that's sometimes if I had a bus full of 200 police officers in my back pocket, I'd start Academy 200 eligible, qualified police officers.
Thank you.
I think it's important because I know I get the question a lot. You guys are in there and you're supposed to, one of the things that we're doing is recruiting. And you said it right. If we waived them, I think a lot of people think you just wave a magic wand and you got another 100 officers. But there's an 18-month process. I'd love to make sure that the media understands that this is a long and arduous process, because we got to make sure we have the right person in the right seat. And it's not. We hired all these people, but they're carrying guns, so we got to make sure that all the gates are met before they actually get on the street. So I think
we got an 18-month process, Commissioner, and attrition happens every day. And what I find from when the time I started here and see what I'm seeing now, people who are just leaving this profession totally for other professions and just getting out of law enforcement. They also were leaving to other jurisdictions. I think there's a lot of reasons. There was a circuit attorney that was hostile towards our police officers, and I don't think was fair. And it's certain, when you make those arrests, those 6,000 arrests, you find out nothing's being done with them. That's legal cynicism. Our officers' morale starts to go down. All those things have changed, and I see officers now. If over 40 have come back from other jurisdictions that we trained, that's a message to say, hey, they want to come back in the department, but for economics, and also being part of the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department. There's a very, very good, very, very good history, and also a reputation across the United States, and being in a city where we can help people that need us the most. And those are the type of things I'm seeing in my few decades of experience, that you can feel it, you can see it. Morale's hard to judge, but I can see even the trust. Clearance rates, also, you can have the greatest police work in the world, but if the community's not trusting you, they're not going to come forward. They're not going to come forward to help you clear these cases. That's trust in policing, and that's one of the biggest things that I see when we have a high clearance rate. But you're absolutely right. People are retiring for the right reasons. You hit 20 years, you're allowed to retire. You've paid your dues. But what we're seeing is people are staying now after they're 20. And then I think the number was several hundred that can leave tomorrow. And that was a big part of why that raise was so important for attention and keeping them, because they will stay now, and then we're not going to lose that talent. And, and that helps slow down the attrition. But 18 months versus an everyday attrition base, that's something that I always try to explain, but I don't know if it gets through, Commissioner, so thank you for asking that question.
Okay, thank you, Chief, appreciate that very much.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate that.
Thank you, Chief.
Number 8 on announcements, we'll now open the floor up to the board members for any announcements.
I had a few things I wanted to discuss this morning. My office has communicated on some critical public safety issues with the Board of Police Commissioners, and I just want to ensure that the board is acting on those requests as the executive body over the police department. There are a few that we haven't received meaningful responses on, feedback, and these things are vital to city coordination, so I would like to formally request updates. As you can imagine, as the mayor's office, we receive very regular requests and emails, communication from stakeholders about public safety issues, particularly as it relates to the police department. And as the mayor is no longer governing the police department, we've instituted a policy internally where we are sharing those directly with the Board of Police Commissioners. By way of example, recently received an email from One Metropolitan Square. The building owners had respectfully requested a meeting to discuss steps taken to improve police response times in the area of their building, patrols and other things. We forwarded that, and it was acknowledged, the email was acknowledged, but it's imperative for our coordination with those stakeholders that we be included. We have not been made aware of any subsequent response from either the Board of Police Commissioners or the chief on any direct or any subsequent communication related to that matter. And from the perspective of the city, we're forwarding those, we're trying to be collaborative, a coordinating approach, but we've got to be included in those communications in order to coordinate a response. So we're respectfully requesting that when, I want to first acknowledge that our policy now, when we are requested to direct the police department, is to include the Board of Police Commissioners. The mayor is no longer the governing entity over the board, over the police department. This body is. So, but the mayor's office and other city departments are critical in coordinating an approach and a response to those. So, with regards to that particular email and any other emails of those kinds, I'm respectfully requesting that we be included on communication with those stakeholders as we're forwarding them to the Board of Police Commissioners as well as the chief.
Yeah. Does it require an answer, Chief?
Well, we would,
Yeah.
We would probably go into
Yes.
issues of communication going the other way.
So I'm going to, I'm not, but we're not going to respond. We have an executive session after.
Right.
Thank you.
no, I mean,
Go ahead,
these are.
Mayor, you can
okay.
continue your comments. Go ahead. We can go ahead and continue.
There's some other issues as it relates to personnel. We recognize that the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department, Human Resources, that you don't require, for example, we were approving an issue here today of creating a new position, and we recognize that those approvals don't need to go through the Board of E&A, like other city departments do require in the city government. But this documentation is an important step for ITSA, our IT department. We've got to have those changes for Oracle. And so we've communicated that to the Board of Police Commissioners, and I'm respectfully requesting a response and acknowledgement that it's is a critical part of making sure that the police department has the right pieces in Oracle, and we can't do that without knowledge. It's a department can't make those necessary changes without communication from the Board of Police Commissioners or whomever, the police department, to make those changes.
Can we discuss that too, I guess?
These are open comments for the commissioner or the mayor has the floor. We'll leave it at that.
And lastly, I'll just say that coordinating with us and the police department and our city departments is of importance to the mayor's office as well as all the city departments. We have been holding bi-weekly meetings for public safety to discuss these issues. President Saraceno has been invited and is a welcome participant in those. But it is important to us that we retain that cadence. When meetings are canceled at the last minute without rescheduling, it does break down that collaborative approach. And it is important to our department's chief that you continue to be part of our cabinet meetings. We need you to be there. And we welcome that and would respectfully request that the chief of police continue to be present and part of the city department, the mayor's office cabinet meetings on a regular basis. As well, I'll also just point out there have been some breakdowns in communication, going back, some unanswered questions related to, and this is not a, final set, but recent homicide trends, change in Missouri law related to copper wire theft. This is an issue that impacts many in the city of St. Louis, and specifically the city of St. Louis has been the victim of much wire theft. We've been seeking to partner with the police department to address this, the high incidence of copper wire theft in the city. As well, we've been seeking to have a coordinated, the best approach in combined public safety task force that we've set up. And so I just want to bring these issues up as a request for coordination. I'm bringing them up to the board specifically as the governing body. Typically, historically, the mayor has been able to drive those, but the board now governs the police department.
Any further comments, Mayor? Any? Yes?
Just to reiterate my request for response on those issues.
Any further board members with any? I know our transition director, Mr. Winters, can you provide a report with regards to the communication with the city on the transition of assets to the police department, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
We've been working in coordination with the mayor's office and also the comptroller's office. We've submitted a list, I believe it was a couple months ago. The comptroller's office has received the list, they've accepted receipt, and we're waiting on the transition of the properties or any further feedback. We have not received that yet.
Those were issued through an email, correct?
Through an email. We've had also a couple of Zoom meetings as well, video meetings, but we are patiently and waiting the feedback on all those properties that we've requested.
Any of that with the time sensitivity? Is there any of these properties that have time sensitive that we as the governing body for the department have held anything back?
Well, no, nothing from the police department. Actually, Commissioner Ortega has personally visited every single property himself. We've gone with a team of independent construction folks to look at all the properties. I would say that Major Marisi in the chief's office has gone above and beyond on looking at all these properties. I was hopeful to have this done before the fiscal year, but I'm behind a little bit on this one.
Mr. Winters, what sort of response are you waiting on and from whom?
Sure. My understanding is the comptroller's office is the one that blesses this. Jim Garavaglia has been very, very open on a couple of issues. He's been super helpful as long as Comptroller Behringer, but at this point, we're waiting for the legal transfer of these properties or any response on why they would or wouldn't make sense.
From whom are you waiting on a response?
My understanding it's the comptroller's office who has kind of that final say.
Okay. If it would be helpful, I would be happy to speak with the comptroller's office this week to see where that process is.
Okay.
Yeah, of course, she's a separately elected individual, obviously, but I will make sure that I convey this concern and request to her as well as her office.
Thank you.
Okay. Seeing none other comments from any board members, going to ask Commissioner Sonia Jenkins-Gray, we're going to adjourn out of the public meeting into executive session.
This meeting has provided notice of the board's intent to go into executive session. The board can go into executive session under RSMO 610.0211, legal actions, causes of action, or litigation involving a public governmental body and any confidential or privileged communications between a public governmental body or its representatives and its attorneys. Secondly, RSMO 610.0213, hiring, firing, disciplining, or promoting of particular employees by a public governmental body when personal information about the employee is discussed or recorded. However, any vote on a final decision when taken by a public governmental body to hire, fire, promote, or discipline an employee of a public governmental body shall be made available with a record of how each member voted to the public within 72 hours of the close of the meeting where such action occurs, provided. However, that employee so affected shall be entitled to prompt notice of such decision during the 72-hour period before such decision is made available to the public. As used in this subdivision, the term personal information means information relating to the performance or merit of individual employees. Persons requiring an accommodation to attend and participate in the St. Louis Board of Police Commissioner meetings should contact Lieutenant Tully. That was on there, so I read that too.
So the motion is to adjourn from session and enter into executive session. Do we
Make
have
a motion.
Motion by Commissioner Jenkins Gray, second by Commissioner Brown. Any discussion? Mr. Gavello, please call the roll.
Commissioner Saraceno?
Aye.
Commissioner Jenkins Gray?
Aye.
Commissioner Ortega? Aye. Mayor Spencer?
Aye.
Motion adjourned. Motion to adjourn. Meeting adjourned. Thank you all for your attendance.